right, welcome back, League Nighters. Thanks for joining us. We are back with another swing breakdown. We are back with our pros. We are checking out some of the pro swings. Today, we have got Dale Brungardt himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Lots of bats in the past few years. I've had his signature on them. Dude hits tanks, really good power hitter, also pretty good third baseman to boot. So good player out there. Obviously, nobody's coming knocking on your door to put your name on a bat if you're not good, but we're going to check him out today. Take a look like we have our Ryan Harvey and our Flip Washington. If you haven't seen those, please go back and check them out. They will be linked at the end of the video for sure. But we're going to check out Dale today and see what makes his swing work. So I know Jason had looked up a few things on him. Give us a little lowdown on Dale here.
Yeah, so one of the things, most people know him as a power hitter. The guy has signature model bats. He hits for power. He was featured on Slowpitch Bat Bros to show his signature model bat, and you see him hit tanks. But underrated, guy is a phenomenal third baseman.
Yeah.
2021 first team all-conference U-Trip third baseman. So, you can be a power hitter, and defense still matters sometimes.
Sure does.
So shout out to him for also having the leather out there too. He doesn't just hit bombs; he can pick it as well. His RP7, one of the stats that we've kind of introduced to you through the SW48 site softball center. He was a
shout out to SF
34.8. So he averaged about 35 runs per game if he hit in all the slots. I mean, that's a high number, right?
Sure is.
He himself would be competing in a lot of these conference games that are high scoring matches. He can take it out himself. He hit 71 bombs last year, so he was good for about one a game.
Oof,
which that's still great. If you're in a situation where you're at a home run limited location, you do need the ability to do something other than home runs, and so we will cover that today. He does have a non-home run swing.
That's true.
And even though he was a power hitter, which I think is what everyone will associate him with, his on-base percentage was .696, so that illustrious 700 that you want to shoot for.
Yeah.
If you can be a 700 hitter and average a home run a game, that's an all-around offensive powerhouse right there.
And do it against the best players in the country.
Yep.
You're doing it. You're doing it right.
He's doing it well.
He's doing it well. That's right. Extra shout out, because I love to reiterate, thank you to SW48 and his channel for allowing us to use the footage. All the footage you're going to see today, we borrowed from SW48. So again, super huge thank you to him. Awesome dude. Check out the channel if you want to see the best of the best playing with commentary and all that. Check out the channel. It's awesome, super useful to not only see the best play, but just learn from what the best do to get to where they are. So super huge shout out to him. Back to Dale here. So first one we're going to look at is a home run swing. So we looked at a number of his swings. This one sort of is the one that shows sort of the average. Like, this is the one that most of his home run swings look like. So there wasn't anything particularly unique that he had to do to like hit a low pitch or hit a high pitch or anything. This is like what his normal home run swing would be as far as we can determine. Let's just watch it through real quick in real time, and then we'll go back and slow it down and see what we can pick out of it. So big swing here, waiting on his pitch, just puts it out there, no problem. Pulled it to left field.
Sit, baby. That was
hit and sit. We'll watch one more time here. Again, just nice and relaxed. Gonna take his big step and swing, and it just goes. Left fielder doesn't even have to think about fielding that ball. He knows it's out of there. So big things we were talking about beforehand is, and I even just mentioned it briefly, is how relaxed he is. So, I mean, look at that right now. Bat may or may not actually be sitting on his shoulder. It's just hanging out. He's just waiting for a pitch, waiting to see what he needs to do to get his job done. Not getting overly aggressive. Doesn't really have a whole lot of body movement or wiggle or bat movement or anything like that. But again, super relaxed. I gotta love this because he's got that bat kind of slung backwards, which is very much like I do it. So I probably do it like him. I'm sure he doesn't do it like me, but I like to see that I'm not the only one, and somebody at the highest level can do it too. So, so that's one big thing we noticed there. And then as we start moving forward here, again, a little bit of a bat wiggle, not a huge amount of movement there. And then big thing here we noticed is huge up step. So he really picks that foot way up. We see a lot of guys that will like pick it up a little bit and then a lot more out, but he picks it way up, which again, nothing wrong with that, just a different way of doing it. So kind of interesting, picking that foot way up and bringing it almost all the way back to the knee. So I think that's similar to, I think it was Flip's video we watched where he does a similar thing where that front foot almost comes back and hits the inside of that back knee and really kind of gets that upward movement before he comes down.
For any of our baseball junkies out there, very similar to the most prominent power hitter of all time, Sadahara O. If anybody's ever seen Sadahara O swing, that's how he gets that huge kind of load where he's building all that momentum and loading on that back leg like he's springing.
Yeah.
He's compressing that coil, because when he drives that back leg forward, he's just going to generate so much power. I don't remember if Dale was on this video, but I just saw a recent video that got posted by your guy, Van Bogart.
Oh, yeah.
And they said one of the most important things for any young or up-and-coming softball player to understand is how to generate power through the hips. This is the perfect example of textbook hip generation. And you watch as he gets through and how much he's going to throw those hips through. And that's going to build all that bat speed.
Yeah, big hip turn right there. And again, this is a thing, I work at the San Francisco Baseball Academy. I work with a lot of kids. This is a big thing that I am preaching to them a lot too is, especially with kids that haven't quite developed their full swing yet, is they do a lot of arm swinging. And that's one of the first things I usually try to do is just to get them to turn those hips hard. I always use the cue of if you had an arrow sticking out of your belly button, that you'd want to turn it at the pitcher as hard as you could. If we were to take that as a cue, you'll notice right now that belly button's pointed right at the camera, and then before contact is even made, that thing is back out either towards the pitcher or maybe even a little farther to the left side since he's doing a hard pull here. So again,
that front leg is completely locked. It's just telling you how much power he's bracing on that front leg. His rear leg is coming forward so quickly with that hip turn that his back leg is completely off the ground. When he makes contact. I mean,
this is probably one of the highest lifts of that back foot we've seen of some of these guys too. So,
and you had mentioned it when we watched this through, but that wrist snap, like you can see his bat snapping as he's making contact. Like the timing of the snap is perfect. And it's such a hard snap that you almost even see his top and bottom hand separate as he comes through with that orange grip tape on his bat. Yeah,
you can see a little bit of room in between them, which is crazy, like to even think about. But because again, as he's coming through, like when you see the bat traveling, those hands are together, and then by the time he gets here to snap it, he's like really throwing that thing around. And then once we get to that frame, you'll see it's really like that. You can really see that flick. You just by the nature of the travel of his wrist there, how much it just flicks through like that. So huge advantage. Again, that wrist flick.
He does have superhuman strength. I mean, the guy is buff as all can be. But I mean, the mechanics here are so sound. Look at how disciplined he is with his head. You can see his head just velcroed to that back shoulder so that he's looking down the barrel of his bat as he makes contact. You can almost even see a little bit of the button of his hat. He's so focused on keeping that chin on his shoulder, and he just unloads on this thing.
If you're watching, even from his stance, like other than it moving forward because he's stepping, that head is not moving at all until about there. And that's only because that ball's within, 5 feet of him at that point. So he has to just move his eyes a little bit just to keep his eye on it. But again, that head is like you could almost just still frame around the head and his body would just move around it, which is exactly what you should be doing. Again, that's how you keep your accuracy on the ball. Even when you're swinging out of your shoes, if you can keep your head still like that, you're going to just make solid contact. Because again, another thing I have to reiterate to the kids, even some adults too, that just want to swing super hard is if you don't hit the ball square, it doesn't matter how hard you swing, because you're going to either pop it up, you're going to ground it, or maybe 1 out of 10 you might square it up and hit it hard, but as we all know, 1 out of 10 isn't going to get the job done. Again, great example here, keeping that head still, making solid contact a super high percentage of the time. Follow through, nothing too special there, but things I would point out, and we'll look at it at the end of the video here too, just one other home run swing really quick. But he's not super out of control at the end here. Like, that's a normal follow through. He can just kind of put the bat down and run. Like, he's not making this big old like twist, he's not being a ballerina up there, just twisting around at the end. Pretty in control the whole time, and then just takes a yard. No doubter. Again, the left fielder barely moved, just turned around just to see it, because when you have something that majestic, you want to be witness to it. So he's just taking a look at that.
He hits it low enough. I don't even know if it qualifies as majestic.
That's true. Maybe he just knew who was swinging it, and he's like, okay, let's witness the glory.
These guys have played enough high-level ball. They know when the ball's out of there.
That's true. They have a very good idea of what's going on there. Things to talk about. We talked about the stepping out of the box and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Right on the line. He's in that box. Right on the line, right? Not stepping out of that box. So a lot of different things we'd read, and we'd caught up on that too. But this one looks fully legal to me as far as I understand the rules. So no complaints there. We'll probably take a look at a base hit swing too here. But any other things you want to point out about this just sick home run swing before we move to something a little different?
No, I mean, the hand path to the ball keeps the bat just super level. So
yep.
He's super in control. I mean, even though he hits it probably 320, it just looks so easy. Like, it doesn't look like he's overexerting himself.
Yeah.
Which is huge. You want to swing hard, but in control. And I mean, that just looks like a super controlled swing for him.
Yeah.
He generates so much power with his hips. You really don't have to worry about a whole heck of a lot else up top.
Yeah. Huge thing. Not to keep going back to baseball academy, but we've got one kid there that's a commit to D1. He's a D1 collegiate commit. He's just a monster. He's huge. He's a big guy, and just has massive amounts of power. And we've been kind of guiding him towards, not as much me as some of the other guys there, but guiding him towards, hey, let's learn how to just swing 85%, because your 85% in control is unstoppable. And when you swing 100%, you're going to hit the ball 450, and who needs to hit the ball 450, right? So that's kind of the whole thing, is they're getting him to be like, hey, let's just get that 85% under control and automatic, which it seems like, again, something like that here. Maybe this is an 85-90, certainly not 100% swing for him. That's automatic, and he can do exactly what he wants to do with it. So not a bad idea to know your 85% swing in slow pitch softball as well. All right, so let's take a look at a base hit. All right, so we're going to take a look here at a base hit swing. So a few different things are happening here, but let's take a look at it real quick in real time. Nice swing right over the middle of the infield. Super easy, automatic, automatic base hit there. No question about it. Nobody's making a play on that. So let's run it back in slow-mo, see kind of what's the same, what's different. I would say before we do anything, still relaxed, nothing different there, even though I'm sure he's coming to the plate with a different approach. When I see this type of hit from a guy like this at this level, I assume that hit was on purpose. His base hit was on purpose. He wasn't trying to hit the ball out of the park. This isn't just a miss hit or anything like that. This is him doing something on purpose. So even when he's going to the plate,
because there's no one on base, man. Solo bombs are a waste.
Right, solo bombs are a waste. Even when you got 16, right? Solo bombs are a waste. And you can even see too, like, I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can see my cursor here. 375 in center field right there too. So this is a big field they're playing on.
It looks like they're playing on a baseball field.
Yeah, it's probably is a high school baseball field or something like that. Which at this level, these guys almost need to play on a field like that. So maybe not never, but certainly not right now. I'm not hitting a ball to 375 by any means. Not going to happen. But anyway, so it's coming in here again, nice and relaxed. Like that ball, let's see he's just now picking up his foot. That ball's halfway to him. That's halfway through the pitch before he's even lifting that leg. So plenty of time to stay relaxed. decide what he wants to do with this ball. And as we move
Probably
forward,
at its apex and coming down before he even picks up his leg.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I seem to talk to a lot of guys that are kind of league night guys that they get concerned about pitches and where they're going and what they're doing and figuring out what to do with them a lot. And I always try to tell them you don't have to worry that much about it. It's slow pitch. Like if you, I think if you worried less about it, you'd actually be better at it because it's not as hard to determine whether you should or shouldn't swing than you think. So I think it's just more of their nerves. But anyway, takes his time here. Same big leg lift. That thing comes almost all the way back, touches his back knee, takes his step forward, flattens that bat out a little bit, but comes up just a hair, you'll notice here. And then you'll actually notice the bat's coming down when he comes back his backside there. So he's kind of coming
right
up and down.
Shoulder height.
Yeah, it catches it pretty high in the strike zone too. You're right. But as we see, that ball goes up in the air enough to get past the infield and drops into the outfield with no concern right there. So again, that ball's probably dropping out there at 150, 175 feet, well in front of the infield. No question that there's a base hit right there. Doesn't have to worry about that. But I would say the big difference here, especially for this, because we talked about this beforehand when we were checking out this clip, is that the reason that ball travels the way it travels is because he's creating topspin. Mm-hmm. So again, topspin's not the thing you want to do if you're trying to hit a bomb. We all get that, I think. But there's a lot of value in this. And again, we're assuming he's doing this on purpose. It looks like he's doing this on purpose. I'm sure this is a thing he practices so that he knows when it's time to do it, he can do it. Flattens it out, but then comes up just at a little bit of an angle. Now, again, the swing is still pretty flat. It's just, instead of on that flat plane, it's just slightly angled up. It's almost like the opposite of a cut swing. At least to me, that's what it seems like. So on a cut swing, you want to hit the middle of the ball, and when you end up at the backside of the ball, you're just slightly below middle of the ball, and that way that ball travels out and up and stays up in the air. So with this, it's almost the opposite. It's hard to see here, but it's almost like he hits just slightly above center of the ball and then cuts through to the middle of the ball, which again lets it go out, but lets it come back down. And so that's the thing, is it just immediately dips down. It's almost like when you see those backspin pitchers where that ball drops earlier than you expect it to. It's the same type of thing. It's creating that spin that's making it drop out of the air. It's going to have a similar flight path, even though it's a little bit different mechanic. So
very tennis.
It is very tennis.
Topspin is a huge thing for tennis. I think you really see him accentuated in his backswing, is where he's really getting that topspin. You see how he kind of comes almost up, and then you see the bat is tilting back down now.
Right.
When his hand kind of exposes the bat head after it's through the zone, you really see the difference between how he follows through to try to work that topspin into the follow through.
Yeah, and you'll notice just between these three frames there, that bat's pretty flat, and then 2 frames later, which if this is truly 30 frames per second, you're talking about 1/15 of a second. It's just super just popped in, pops down, angles back down, and then that ball's traveling exactly the way he wants it to. And again, it almost, because of how quickly it gets to that downward angle for the bat, that's part of his wrist flick. At least I'm assuming so. So he's coming through with his normal swing and then adjusting that wrist flick just slightly to create a different spin on the ball. So I think a lot we could learn from that there. I would say this is definitely maybe a little bit more advanced technique. Just because it is advanced technique doesn't mean someone can't learn it. You don't have to be a pro player to learn something like this, but I think this is an often overlooked strategy for people that aren't at the top of the game like this. So maybe something to think about if you're, just league night, low-level tournament player like we are. That's something that could be a nice tool in the toolbox. So something to consider there. Again, most of the mechanics are the same as his home run swing, just it's really the angle of which his swing goes up and then kind of how he changes his wrist flick. I think that's really the big difference there. And I'm sure this is a thing that he works on all the time, just like all these other guys do. They're in the tee, they're taking BP. I know I'm guilty of this too. When you go to BP, sometimes you just want to go out and just hit bombs all day long, right? Because it's fun, right? And it is fun. I get it. It's fun. In reality, BP is a practice. So when you're practicing, you want to practice different strategies. You're not just like, let's just see how far we can hit it. Now, sure, seeing how far you can hit it sometimes is fun, but guys like this, the top level, I don't know if we have any social media videos of him necessarily doing it, but I know we talked about the Ryan Harvey videos on YouTube of him just in the backyard taking who knows how many hundred swings into a net in his own backyard. And when he's doing that, you'll notice he's not trying to hit bombs into the net. He's working on base hits. He's working on line drives. He's working on his backspin, working on his topspin, all those sorts of things. So, hey, we can all learn from that for sure. So
it makes me think about how, I don't know what it was like when you went to high school and played ball in high school, but when we went into the cage to play high school ball, or when we were out on the field taking BP, usually you started the drill with situations, right? You had a runner on first and you had to get him over, right? You need to work on hitting backside to advance the runner, or there's a runner on second, you need to advance him to third, and then runner on third, you need to get a ball in the air. It's kind of the same concept with softball.
Yeah.
Obviously, you may not be working on so much as situational where the runners are, but situational, where's your defense?
Yeah.
You've got a 5-man. Where's the 5-man? Is he on the pull side or the slap side of second base? How are you going to try to expose those gaps?
Yeah.
If there's a 4-man outfield, you've got different gaps than if you've got a 3-man outfield. So there's lots of different scenarios. You need to be prepared to understand how to exploit the defenses, and the best way to do that is to practice that in a BP session.
Absolutely.
You can still hit the ball hard and hit a gap.
Yes, yes. And often that's, especially if you're on a lower home run limit. I've said it before. I will say it again. I will argue it, especially, until you get to this level where you've got 16 home runs a game. If you're working with 1 or 3 or 5, you're starting to get a little leeway, but if you're working with those number of home runs per team per game, I argue that a double the gap is almost more important than a home run. If you can hit that double the gap, you know what you're doing. Everybody that's on base currently is going to score except you, and if you hit a home run, everybody on base scores and you. So you're really just talking about 1 run difference, and you save that home run for either an oops home run by somebody or okay, now we got 2 on, bases loaded, whatever, and our best home run hitter's up. Let's let him swing away. Again, to go back to this specific swing like this, where this ball gets placed right here, again, there's no playing this. So basically your outfielders have to make a choice. They're either going to play in because you're going to do this to them all day and go 4 for 4, 4 for 5, 5 for 5, whatever, and just place it right there every time, or they have to stay back, because the potential that you could hit it over their head. So either if you have both of those in your toolbox, then there's really not a lot the outfield can do. At that point, it's entirely up to you. If you make a mistake and you hit the ball not like you want, that's when they get you out. Instead of, I'm going to go up and hit the ball and hope that the defense doesn't get it, right? In this case, you're in control. And if you have those both in your toolbox, you're going to be in pretty good shape, I think. So, so until we move on, just to take a quick look at another video, just briefly. Anything you have to add on to this one here?
No, you could see he gets himself into a good position to run out of the box, too.
Yep.
He's out, and he's already twisting his body, and he's ready to run. He hits this. He knows he's going to start hustling, and, he's going to make the outfielder get it in quickly, or maybe he snags an extra bag. So coming out of the box hard is always important as well. And even these conference guys, they'll come out of the box hard most of the time because it's important. You can steal extra bases and force errant throws, especially at the lower levels. If you put a little pressure on the defense, a lot of times you'll find extra bags just in pressure creation and doing nothing else.
Yeah, and that's kind of another, just to touch on, a little off topic but not exactly, it's a little bit of my pet peeve when people don't run out anything. Like, it bothers me a little bit. And if you go back, watch SW48's channel, and you watch all these conference players, all these guys hustle. If it's an automatic single, you still don't see guys like super slow jogging to first. Like, they at least have like a little bit of spring in their step to first base. All you guys that think, oh, I'm cool, I'm just gonna jog to first super slow because I got my base hit and whatever, like, that's not how the best play. You know how many fans get upset when a major leaguer jogs to first base and doesn't run out an infield single or whatever? Like, it's the same thing. If you want to play at a high level, go hustle. Go hustle. Your team will love it too.
At our most recent LGH tournament, our 5-man was batting last and I was batting leadoff, and he would hit the ball and he would not run out of the box, no matter where it was hit. Infield, outfield, doesn't matter. Would not run at all. You bet your butt that every single at-bat I was in his ear. You better run out of the box, buddy. And he heard me. And in the last game, because we won the championship, he actually came out of the box. I was like, now you get it?
Yeah, well, and you're not that, you're pretty quick too, so it's good for him to have an extra base on you, or else you're going to catch him on the base path too. So,
well, I mean, he ran one out and forced an errant throw and got on base. That's why you hustle.
Yep, that's why you hustle, because you get a few freebies here and there, you know. And all right, well, let's take a look at one more swing here, just to reiterate one last point. All right, so we're just going to take one quick look at another one here. We're not going to break it down too much, but I just wanted to show this one because, again, I've seen a ton of footage from watching SW48's channel, and I've seen Dale Brungardt swing a lot of times. And also, if you check out Slowpitch Bat Bros, where he actually guest appeared on there to swing his own bat, you'll kind of notice this as when he's ready to swing away and just hit that home run, knowing that's what he's going up there, swings so hard that he actually twists himself out a little bit. So just wanted to take a quick look at that and see what it looks like. So this is a pro swinging all the way out. You'll notice he like twists almost all the way backwards before he goes, and of course he just hits an absolute bomb. Like, again, that's Jeremy Yates right there. He has no worries about having to get to that ball because there's no way he can get there. But again, just to look at it really quick, you know, ball's coming in. He knows he's swinging for the fence. He's got, you can see, I think that's EW right there on second, and then he's got somebody on third right here too. Just absolutely just going to swing out of his shoes because he knows that's his job right now. Makes his contact, but he creates so much twist that look where his back foot ends up in front of the plate after the swing, because it's just, he twists all the way around. I mean, basically his hips are facing back at his dugout right now. So like that is just
his hips and his button were facing towards the visitor's dugout in first base, and he swings so hard, generates so much force. Yeah, he gets himself 180 degrees around.
Yeah, just can't slow himself down. That's how hard he's swinging. So again, the thing to learn from this is that swinging out of your shoes is possible. That maybe is his 99% swing, but he knows how to control it. So let's not make that swing.
Venture that if you look at the launch angle on that, or whether or not he squared it nearly as much, he probably doesn't.
Probably not.
If you look at how much that is kind of just like a really long pop-up.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes like a 35 or 40 degree launch angle, which is, you know, almost just a long fly ball. You know, if this is a field that's 300, you know, it's hard to tell if this is a 300-foot field.
This is 330 right there, but it's hard to see.
Okay. So, you know, maybe hits at 345, but at a Space Coast or somewhere where it's like 375, that might be an out.
Yeah, it could be, but he, again, another part of it, know what field you're playing on, right?
Yep.
Like, he knows that he can just get a long fly ball and it's getting out of here. Like, so he's just like, okay, just do your job, right? It's almost like when you see a major leaguer go up to bat, and sure, they're going to swing for the fence if, you know, they've got a runner on third, one out, maybe it's a tie game, maybe they're down by one, wherever. The coach tells them, yo, sack fly here, swing out of your shoes. If it goes out, great. If it doesn't and you hit a long fly ball, you did your job. I'm sure that's a little bit of the thinking here, except you can pretty much avoid the long fly ball because it's slow pitch and he knows what he's doing. So same thing. He's like, just hit it hard and high and let it go, and your job will get done correctly. So I really think that's probably just the mindset when you walk up to bat for this one here. So unless you got anything to say about the last little quick video here, I think we wrap it up. Big thanks to SW48 again for letting us use the videos. Big thanks to Dale Brungardt for being a beast. We appreciate it. We love to watch. He does have a new bat, new Monster U-Trip bat, actually. The DB44. It's a great looking bat, so you may check that out. I think it's an A3 Sports exclusive, possibly. I'm not exactly sure on that, but it looks like it might be. Mazda's in the U-Trip business now, so check out the Dale Brungardt. If we can get a hold of one, we'll certainly let you know what we think about it, but we'll see if we can do that or not. Hopefully we'll be doing some more swings in the future and could bring you a little bit more of that content as well. So
don't forget, if you haven't watched the Flip Washington or the Ryan Harvey, check the description. We'll have links to that, and then we'll also link you to the Slowpitch Bat Bros video where they bring DB on to do a review of his the bat that he's swinging in this one, actually, that DeMarini Dale Brungardt signature.
Yeah, I think they called it the ice bat or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, he just hits the ball like crazy hard. So if you just want to see somebody just hit the ball absolutely crazy hard with, not in a game situation, so there's no consequences. He's just swinging hard. It's crazy. So yeah, definitely check that out. Otherwise, thanks everybody again for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, everyone. We really appreciate it. Depending on what platform you're watching us on, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Anything you can do to let us know that you like what we're doing here. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.